ولقد أرسلنا موسى بآياتنا أن أخرج قومك من الظلمات إلى النور وذكرهم بأيام الله إن في ذلك لآيات لكل صبار شكور. صدق الله العظيم.
جزاكم الله خيرا. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن. That's a very, very good recitation from our brother. So inshallah, before I hand over the microphone to our amiable Prof, I was talking about the book earlier, which was called Skills Rather Than Just Degree. But the topic, inshallah, for today will be Startup Ecosystem for International Staff or Students. The doctor has been in the system. He's been in Medina, alhamdulillah. He was the head of technical writing in 2014. So he knows how it works, how your stipend is, how everything is like. So he wants to give you the scope beyond just going to class, beyond just waiting for the stipend every month. What you can do, what skills you can learn, then remove the L and learn later and start N. So inshallah, I'll give the mic to the doctor now, and please let's pay attention. Jazakumullah khairan.
Your Excellency and my fellow students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah's peace be upon you all. Permit me to begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing us with this golden opportunity to converge on this temple of King Abdul'azeez University here in Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in order to have a discussion or a presentation to you. After that, I also want to use the opportunity to appreciate the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, particularly the King and also the custodian of the two holy mosques, and also the Crown Prince, for giving scholarship to many students, particularly postgraduate students all over the world, to come to the kingdom and study either religion or sciences. It is indeed something that deserves commendation. We pray to Allah to continue to guide them and also to give them the ability to continue this community service that they have been doing all over the world. In addition, the topic given to me by you is a startup ecosystem for international staff and students. And I intend to discuss the topic with you based on experience. I live as a student in some places, particularly in the United Kingdom doing my PhD. Furthermore, as an international staff, I lived in other places, including the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at the Islamic University of Medina, where I taught in the Faculty of Computing and Information Systems. One of the brothers that accompanied me to this lecture, who is sitting in front of you here, was one of my students in the university, one of the best students. I taught him for 2 to 3 sessions while in the university. So I have many of them. Wherever I travel in the kingdom, Riyadh, Jeddah, Makkah or Medina, I can hardly come in and go out without meeting 2, 3 or 4 of them. Even online, when they see I'm in the kingdom, I will start receiving their calls, seeking for permission to come and say hi or salam to me. And I'm glad that this is one of them. And because of this, I will talk to you out of experience. Furthermore, before we go deep into the topic, there is need for us to provide just a brief background between humans on one hand and technology on the other. As we all know that the most beneficial of all of us is the one that is more beneficial to others. In a hadith which has been reported in Sahih al-Jami', hadith number 6662, our beloved Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam says, Khairun nas man yanfa'uhum. The best of people are those who are beneficial to others. It is because of this, wherever we find ourselves, let us try to be beneficial to humanity. Being beneficial to humanity doesn't mean you could not be able to get anything worldly. You can make use of your time, your intellect, to come up with an innovation that can change the world, and at the same time, Almighty Allah will also reward you. It all depends on your motive for doing that. It is because of this, before we speak on the topic, we need to always remind ourselves, in any community we find ourselves, let us try to be beneficial to others. Let us be beneficial to humanity. Take, for instance, as a student or as a staff, you traveled from your country, either in Africa or Asia or Europe or America, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to study here in King Abdul'azeez University without any aircraft, with any car. You only travel, if you are lucky, to be on donkey or on horse, as the case may be. Look at the difficulty of this travel. But today we are an aircraft. You can travel from Africa to this place within 4 to 5 hours. You travel from Asia, even though here is part of Asia, to this place within 2, 3, 4, or 5 hours. You travel from the US to the kingdom within 10 hours. Without this innovation, without this invention, it can take you years to arrive here. Let's assume you create an aircraft. You invent an aircraft with a good intention of serving humanity. And today people are traveling all over the world using it. Only Allah knows the quantity of reward you are going to gather. So because of this, when we talk about being beneficial to others, it doesn't mean you could not get anything worldly or materially or economically. You can get it. But through your innovation, through your effort, you could be able to change the lives of millions of people all over the world. Briefly, if we are to review what we call industrial revolution in the world before we speak on the topic, it is important to remember that the first industrial revolution, what is being called as Industry 1.0, commenced officially around 1784 in the 18th century. And it continued up to around 1849. Before Industry 1.0 or first industrial revolution in the world, people were only surviving on agriculture, trade, and mostly trade through trade and barter, trade by barter. And the only system that the world knew at that time was only monarchy. Farming, trade, using trade by barter, and only monarch system. people were living without any significant development. Up to around 1784, the first invention that was done, which brought about the first industrial revolution, was the invention of steam power or steam energy by James Watt. He invented an engine that was generating power. Before that invention, people were using humans' muscles and animal muscles to convey commodities from one point to another. But with an engine today that has been invented on your car, in your boot you can carry a lot that your neck cannot afford to take it. And you drive your auto vehicle without any burden or any pressure on you. Are you following? Yes. So steam power and steam energy is to allow people to move from one point to another or to convey a very huge luggage from one point to another without unnecessarily feeling the burden of carrying it. Today, look at the driver of a car, for example, or lorry, for example, or what we call trailer, for example. Using his power, he cannot be able to drive it, even if it is an empty one. But with this invention, you will discover a driver that his weight is not even up to 80 kilograms, could be able to drive without so much utilizing his energy. Why? Because of this invention of steam power or steam energy. On that one, around 1787, there was an improvement on that invention by someone called John Fitch. He invented a ship around Delaware River within the area of the United States of America. After that, with 3 to 4 years, there was another invention of what was called Perseverance, commercial ship that was conveying people from part of Europe up to the US. So the first industrial revolution brought about what is called steam power or steam energy. Largely, the first industrial revolution took place in the United Kingdom. And there was even a competition between Manchester and Liverpool at that time, around 1789. Competition over the invention of a rail line. That competition took place in Liverpool and Manchester in the UK. At the end of the first industrial revolution, then the second industrial revolution, or what we call Industry 2.0. Second industrial revolution commenced around 1850, that is in the 19th century. The major inventions of the second industrial revolution were, number one, electricity. Number two, combustion engine. Number three, exploration and mining. Number four, the invention of a telegraph. Number five, the invention of a telephone. Number six, also the invention of a microphone, among others. These inventions took place in the second industrial revolution, which commenced around 1850 in the 19th century. Electricity was invented. Look at the humidity. Look at the weather here in the kingdom. Let's assume without electricity. If power is off for only 3 minutes, you could be in trouble at certain times. But alhamdulillah, we have uninterrupted power supply here, which is also a blessing. Just assume you are alive for only 1 month here without electricity. Another lesson to be learned, the companions of Prophet, peace be upon him, and may peace be upon them all, live here without electricity. In Mecca, in parts of Medina, in Taif, and many other places, no electricity, and they live and survived. But today, it is enough as a burden, as a challenge for us to live here without electricity, even if food is available. It is an issue. Electricity was invented. Combustion engine was invented. Mining and exploration commenced at that time. The discovery, the exploration, the production. All these things were invented in the second industrial revolution. And also telegraph was invented by Samuel Morse around 1860. Telephone was invented by Alexander Bell around 1876. And later on, microphone was invented by Thomas Edison 2 years later. All these inventions took place in the second industrial revolution. Let's assume our life today without all these facilities. No telephone, no electricity, no mining, no exploration, no devices for that, no technology for that at all. No microphone that we are even using here. All these inventions took place in the second industrial revolution, or what we call Industry 2.0. The second industrial revolution largely took place in the United Kingdom, followed by Belgium, followed by Germany and France. And towards the end of it, the United States of America joined. However, this is what has been documented officially about first and second industrial revolution. But I always argue that there was an industrial revolution in the Muslim world prior to the first and second industrial revolution in the world. But many writers either intentionally ignored it or didn't know. If you look at the writers about industrial revolution, most of them ignored the industrial revolution that took place in the Muslim world. There was industrial revolution in places like Cairo over 3,000 years before the first industrial revolution. Without technology, no way that pyramids in Giza will be constructed. There is no way. And what will amaze you, even the materials, look at the size of the blocks used there, the bricks. They were not from there, they were brought from Aswan, more than 400 kilometers from Giza. There was an industrial revolution in Baghdad. There was an industrial revolution in Andalus. Modern day Spain, starting from around Madrid, Malaga, Granada, Sevilla, Valencia, Cadiz, Zaragoza, among others, accommodating the entire Portugal and also some parts of France, like Lyon. There was industrial revolution. If you read the history of the Muslim world, you will discover that in these three major cities, there were inventions before the first industrial revolution took place in Europe. However, many writers ignored that completely. It is our collective responsibility to investigate more, conduct more research, and bring out the invention that took place in the Muslim world prior to the invention that we have witnessed today in the world. The second industrial revolution was halted by the Second World War. Then, after the Second World War, we moved to the third industrial revolution, which took place around 1960. that is in the 20th century. The third industrial revolution largely was about computerization or automation. The third industrial revolution is also being called as Industry 3.0. Third industrial revolution brought about computers, World Wide Webs, HTTP, Internet, among many others. So the third industrial revolution largely was about ICT, the invention of computers, Internet, World Wide Webs, HTTP, among others. What is relevant here with the topic of our discussion? Internet emerged. You can hardly point out a single inventor of Internet because it was more of a collective effort from many institutions, universities, and personalities. But what has been documented in history, Internet started from a group of students. They learned from an idea that was initiated by an institution called ARPA, meaning Advanced Research Project Agency in the US. That ARPA around 1960 invented what they call ARPANET. ARPANET was invented in order to facilitate research and also to allow communications between staff and students, between researchers. Because at that time you'll discover a topic of research was given to a group of researchers, but physically they were not together in the same town. So in order to facilitate communication among themselves, they invented ARPANET. It was invented in 1960s. Building on that, a forum of American students of information technology invented what they call Usenet, building on the idea of ARPANET. So that Usenet it allowed students to communicate with their lecturers, with other researchers all over the United States of America, because it was linking universities. That is how it all started, linking one institution with the other. For example, if you have it at that time, it will link King Abdul'azeez University with, for example, University of Medina, then Qura University, for example, King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, King Abdullah University. So it allowed researchers to communicate between various institutions within the United States of America. After that, other students came up with new initiatives like CSNet was invented also by students. These inventions started like what we call today as startups. It started as a startup. What is startup? Startup is a company that has been established by one or more people at the initial stage of its development. Any company you establish or any idea you come up or any innovation you come up with, at the earlier stage of it is what is called startup. So they initiated all these ideas as their own startup. It is just coming up with an invention in order to solve a common problem in the world. Then the fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution arguably commenced in the early part of the 21st century. Many writers like the founder of the World Economic Forum argued that the fourth industrial revolution started in 2001 So we are around 22 to 23 years into the first industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, or what we call Industry 4.0. The fourth industrial revolution is largely about ICT as well. However, with more emphasis on disruptive technologies or emerging technologies. Disruptive technologies are technologies like artificial intelligence, robotics, quantum computing, cloud computing, blockchain technology, autonomous vehicle, virtual reality, augmented reality, nanotechnology, biotechnology, among many others, including 5G. They are all part and parcel of the disruptive technologies. And if you look at the disruptive technologies, they are also changing the world significantly. Look at the quality of 5G today when it comes to communication. Today with 5G, robotics, and artificial intelligence, a surgery can be conducted. The distance between the surgeon and the patient is no more a problem. Early this year, I was in Riyadh, and I visited their smart hospital. It was mind-boggling indeed. The way it allows communications between patients and their doctors in the hospital. It is one of the best initiatives I have seen as part of the fourth industrial revolution. And it is here in Riyadh, in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I spent over 3 hours in the hospital with the managing director going round, visiting one part of the hospital to the other. Today, surgery can be conducted. The patient is here in Riyadh, while the surgeon could be here in Jeddah, while the surgeon or the doctor could be in Riyadh or in the US or in the UK or in any part of the world with real-time communications. Recently, a surgery was conducted on Parkinson, which involved even opening a brain, while the gap between the patient and the doctor was over 4,000 kilometers, and it was done successfully. Today, with disruptive technology, sometimes you don't even need to travel for holiday. You can travel virtually. You convince your wife if you don't want to spend money. Try to convince her that we don't need to travel and spend our money. We can travel virtually with virtual reality and augmented reality. I was once in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt using virtual reality, augmented reality. I visited Cairo from there. I visited the pyramids in Giza. We went to Marsa Alam for our holiday virtually. We went to Garda virtually. So if you can convince your family, you can save your money today. You don't need to travel physically, but you have to get ready before you convince them because it's not easy. So this is all about technology. Remember our hadith that I earlier recited. خَيْرُ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَنْفَعُهُمْ. Let us assume all these inventions were done by you. Only Allah knows the reward you are going to get from it, because it is changing people's life for the good. So now we are in the fourth industrial revolution. In the third industrial revolution, few countries entered and joined the second industrial revolution's countries. Japan and Australia joined the third industrial revolution. In the fourth industrial revolution, we had many new entries. China is part of it. South Korea, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, UAE, and definitely 4 countries in Africa are not far from the developed countries for the first time. And indeed, Nigeria is one of them. This is just an example that we are not far. If you look at the quality of invention coming out from our young innovators in Nigeria, is really, really encouraging. And it tells you that if we maintain the tempo, the future is very bright. Invention is all about make use of your time, your intellect, partake in critical thinking, identify a complex problem. When you identify the problem, engage more in critical thinking, particularly creative thinking or thinking out of the box, and come up with a solution to that problem, a unique solution, an innovative solution to that problem. This is what people have been doing all over the world. Partake in critical thinking, identify complex problems. That is why soft skills are very important today. In so many places, soft skills are more valuable than even the hard skills. And that is what the book earlier mentioned by the facilitator, which has been authored by my humble self, addresses. The book is not in any way undermining degrees like B.Tech or BSc, MSc or PhD. I am not undermining. I know how I suffered before I obtained these certificates. I know how I struggled as a student to obtain my B.Tech, then my MSc, then my MBA, then my PhD. However, there are important lessons for us to learn. Number one, today, mere paper certificate of your degree or MSc or PhD is not enough. Just the paper, because sometimes we prioritize the paper so much to the extent that we don't appreciate what we are being taught. All the time we have to conduct research, we are more interested in the paper. And if you want to identify this, when you enter into your class to teach students, ask them. There are two alternatives. If you don't want to write the exam, no problem. Write your name on a paper. From the beginning of the semester to the end, you don't need to come. But I will give you B grade. Then another alternative, you will continue to come to the class, I will teach you everything. But it all depends on what you get. If you get A is A, B is B, C is C, D is D. More than 90% of students will say, no, I will not come, just give me B. Why? Because we fail to realize that what is important is not just the paper qualification, but rather the training and the knowledge you are being taught. But students don't realize that. We give so much emphasis to paper certificates without in any way realizing how important the knowledge is. Paper certificate is just a validation of the training and the skills you have acquired. If you acquire the paper and there is not any skills to be validated, then the aim of acquiring it has been defeated. Because it is supposed to validate something. So when it fails, then the aim of acquiring has been defeated. Secondly, we should realize that sometimes skills or rather certificates expire informally. They expire informally. Let's assume you obtain your degree in computer science in 1996 without any additional training or skills. Will that skill be relevant today? No, it will not be. Why? Because the way is changing by the day. Look at the invention today we have only in the area of artificial intelligence that is completely disrupting the world. So if you obtain a certificate and you keep it aside, after 3 years, if care is not taken, even if you acquire the skills and the training, if that knowledge is not being updated, it will render your certificate and your knowledge to be irrelevant. Sometimes it could even expire informally. So the book challenges us to know that today's paper certificate is not sufficient. It must be overloaded with skills. Number two, even if you acquire the skills, that skill is not sufficient until you continue to improve on it on a daily basis, because new skills are being presented to the world. If you look at the future of jobs in the world, The skills that are required today in the labor market globally, 10 years ago, most of them were not in existence formally. They were not. They were not in existence formally. If you look at the research conducted by the World Economic Forum, the skills that are required today, number one, critical thinking, number two, complex problem solving, number three, creativity, number four, connecting with others, number five, project management. These are the skills that are required today. Number three, if there is a clash between skills and certificate, which one takes priority? The skills. Because that paper is just an evidence. If I know how to do without that evidence, demonstrate what you can do. There and then you'll be presented with a problem in cybersecurity and be challenged to come up with a solution to it. So it's not about certificate, what you can bring on the table. Furthermore, even if you do not have any certificates and time doesn't allow you to go back to university to acquire or any higher institute of learning, you can still turn things around. Partaking in critical thinking or complex problem solving doesn't require you to have a certificate before you do that. People that invented all these technologies, most of them did not attend any university, but they are still changing the world. The guy who invented ChatGPT was a dropout in university, he couldn't graduate. But he came up with something within our own time that changed the whole world. So even if you do not have the certificate, don't consider this as a death penalty, no. You can turn things around. Because we are naturally talented as human beings. And nobody has monopoly of knowledge, wisdom, or skills. Many people did not attend any university, but when you look at their area of expertise, you will discover they are highly talented. And they can challenge those of us who spend over 3 decades in universities. They can always challenge us, and we agree that we can be challenged by them. So that is what is important. My final words to you, because of time constraint. As I earlier mentioned, don't rely only on the courses you are being taught, or you are conducting research, or you teach. You have to create time out of no time to utilize your intellect. Come up with a solution to problems that can change the world. Try to be very optimistic. Please, try to be very optimistic. And I strongly advise you, delete the word impossible from your dictionary. The success of innovation depends largely on looking at things that people believe they are impossible. Try to find a solution. They are very possible. That is why in places like Silicon Valley in the US, where they promote invention or innovation, they even organize a conference that they call it Fail Conference. They will teach you how to accommodate failure. Failure is not opposite to success. Failure is the foundation of success. When you fail once, you fail twice. If you keep on trying, you will be successful. And you will realize that the first and second failures, they are nothing but the foundation of attaining the success. That is why they have their mantra. They call it fail fast, fail often. They will teach you to accommodate and be very comfortable with failure, because it will not remain forever. Life is full of challenges. Whatever you intend to do, you will discover challenges. Keep on doing, keep on doing. Take, for instance, the example of Jeffrey Bezos, the founder of Amazon. He spent 10 years working on Amazon without making a profit of $1. From 1994 up to 2003. But in 2017, he was the most richest person in the world. Consistency. Albert Einstein left Germany for the US. as a university lecturer in the US, and look at his inventions in physics, among others. Why? Keep on trying, and trying. And I believe we are full of people that do have intellect. We should think beyond the walls of our universities. Life today is more than that. Come up with a solution to any problem, whether in education, in health, whether in agriculture, whether in trade, whether in commerce. Don't restrict yourself to only the salary you are being paid or the allowances you are being given. No, you should think big. That is what is being promoted by Elon Musk. Don't think small, think big. And I believe that if you are optimistic, you will be able to do something that will change the world in your area of expertise or even outside the area of your expertise. And I do hope that the few words are beneficial to all of us. Thank you for listening. May Allah's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you all once again.
Please, let's say a big Jazakumullah khair to our professor. Please, I need to hear us very, very well. Please, let's say a big Jazakumullah khair to him.
Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you so much, Jazakumullah khair. We really appreciate it. Fortunately, time isn't on our side, or on our side rather. But this is a very, very great discussion, whereby you talk about the startup idea and the fact that you don't limit yourself to just class. Oh, sorry, we don't limit ourselves to just class. So we are friends of each other. Startup idea doesn't just come with someone. You know your friends, we know our friends, engage with them, start something. Things start from somewhere. And inshallah, I believe we will all be successful, not just on SATs, or not just on first class, second class, or far and all of that. So in short, is what our professor was trying to say is skills is now the new currency to the labor market. You might even know your MSc and you don't get the job. But then you get your skills and you're earning big, more than someone who even did his other degree. All right, so inshallah, we'll be moving to the question part. We'll make it very, very short because of Isha. And there was one thing I forgot to say. The professor's book was reviewed by the president of Microsoft, the person of Brad Smith. So it's a great book, and inshallah, I believe our professor rather, will find a way for the book to get to us as the students, even if it requires us to buy it.
No problem, you have some copies.
All right, just confirm. Please, let's just say another Jazakumullah khair. It's a very, very great book, mashallah. So if there is anyone with questions, please let us know. All right, so we'll be taking the first two on this. Jazakumullah khair. Okay, 3.
MashaAllah, Jazakumullah wa khair jaza, our dear and esteemed professor. We so much appreciate you for this humble and an eloquent presentation. Of course, my question is just as you explained to us, based on the series and the sequence of the industrial developmental stages, you mentioned that after this, you see that these people, after having understood and appreciated this, they will build on this in that order. So, as students of knowledge, I would like to ask, what will you advise us with regards to the, more especially AI? I think most of us would not know and appreciate how to use it in our studies. I believe having been appreciated these things within our studies, I think with that we can also come out with new things by creating or inventing something that will benefit to the world. Thank you so much.
May Allah's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you once again. Because of time constraint, I will not be able to speak on a larger scale. However, artificial intelligence is generally about coming up with an invention that can behave the way human being behaves. Something that will come and substitute human beings. Today, if you look at some developed countries, even in their airports, you will have machines. You don't need to encounter people. You will go physically from a machine, get your boarding pass, you scan your bag, and at the end of it, you submit it. And if you look at their gates, in some places, you don't need to come through anybody but machines. So these machines are somehow substituting what human beings have been doing in these places. So this is what artificial intelligence is all about. When it comes to research, there are so many artificial intelligence solutions that are relevant to your research. ChatGPT is one of them, and there are so many of them. So if you go online, you will discover at the moment we have over 20 artificial intelligence solutions that are applicable to research, whether literature review, whether on your methodology, whether you are referencing, whether your analysis, and what have you. So there are many of them. So what is important in this kind of presentation is not to provide all the solutions, but to give you some tips on how to move around. So with these tips, go and conduct your research about AIs that are applicable to your area and how you can improve on that. And I hope I have answered your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor, for the very insightful and impactful lecture. We say Jazakallah khairan, may Allah bless you. I'm so happy. Why? Because we have the former Minister for Communication. Allah brought you from Nigeria in front of us to specially answer this question I've been meaning to ask for a very long time. Coming from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia, if we look at their database system, you'll be amazed. You'll be astounded because of what they have really put into the database system here. So I want to ask, beyond the NIN process in Nigeria, are we really putting great effort in getting our database system to work in the real sense? Thank you so much, sir.
After the Adhan, please. Database. I strongly agree with you that the effort is highly commendable when it comes to the establishment of their national database, and the way they utilize it is indeed very commendable. Furthermore, also our effort, like in Nigeria, deserves to be commended. 2023, the end of the administration of President Muhammad Buhari, we reached over 101 million enrollments in the database. We increased that enrollment by more than 62 million in less than 3 years. while we inherited only 39 million in 13 years. And no single kobo was released to us by government to enroll people, only thinking out of the box on how to come up with initiatives to increase the enrollment. Because I know national database is key to the success of any responsible country. In the UK, they have their national insurance number. I obtained it while in the UK. Here, they have their ICAMA number. If you go to the US, they have their social security number. If you go to India, they have their Aadhaar number. If you go to Pakistan, they have their Nadra. So you will discover that each country has its own form of national identification number that is key. So in Nigeria, as at the end of May 2023, our enrollment was 101 million people, an increase over 62 million in less than 3 years, while we inherited 39 million in 13 years. And that 13 years, based on record, government spent over 100 billion naira to enroll 39 billion. But within my time, I increased by 62 million. Government has not given me 1 million naira for that. I have not collected 1 naira for enrollment from government to do that. The only intervention provided by government was to replace some facilities in the national data center, but not enrollment. And even that facilities we replaced due to the lack of fund was less than 20 was required. But still, we attend 62 million enrollments within less than 3 years, 2.5 years. What is the total population of Saudis and also expatriates, including here, is 62 million in 2.5 years. And the whole database here is 37 maximum. So most probably, we even achieve almost 200% of that in less than 3 years in Nigeria, in spite of so many challenges. When we started the enrollment, even the campaign against us, campaign of calumny, because many criminals were not interested to be part of the database. Campaign was sponsored against me, but I resisted. I said, you must do it. Today, it becomes normal. For your passport, you have to get it. Driver's license, you have to get it. SIM card, you must get your national identity. But before, it was nothing like that. And we did not initiate the policy. The policy was introduced in 2011. When it was introduced, the then policy makers were threatened and they withdrew. In 2018, it was reintroduced. The then minister said, no, I will not sacrifice my life because of this. He was receiving many threats. When I started, within the first 1 month, Mr. President was telling me he received over 40 petitions against me by criminals. They don't want to be part of the national database. I say, you must be. President, I was explaining to you, say, don't explain. I know how important it is, and I directed to you, go and do it. And I resisted. So it is not as easy. Criminals do not like to be part of any national database. Any effort to do that, they will not accept it, and they will fight against it. But at least with what we have achieved here, so far I believe is very commendable. Particularly in the database, you will discover we have captured our citizens within the age of 15 up to around the age of 60. It is most probably the most important category of people that you want to have their own identity at your disposal. Younger ones, they hardly commit any crime. Elderly people, they hardly. But this age bracket is where 99% of the challenges are. And we have them in the database. And I believe with what we have left behind, and I believe the subsequent administrations will continue to build on that legacy and take it to greater heights. Continuity is key. In this kingdom, they have no problem of continuity. But our system in Nigeria is not the same. But if we are lucky, we will try to maintain any good policy of any outgoing administration, because it's not about political parties, it's about Nigeria. Whatever is good for Nigeria, in respect of the party that initiated, we have to continue, because we are to serve our country and we don't have any place better than our countries. That is for those of us that are from Nigeria here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for your time. We really appreciate it. Please, I want to know the stance of AI in Islam, most especially the one that mimics human beings.
The one
that mimics, that's being created like human beings. Thank you.
I am not here for any fatwa. The topic given to me is startup ecosystem for international staff and students. However, you have answered your question clearly. How did you answer? You have categorized it clear. At-taswir mamnu' fil Islam. Particularly the taswir that will provide the form of creation, where an AI is going to be created in a form of a human being. Today, I'm sorry to say, in some developed countries, and people are buying without getting married. There is no way we can accept that in Islam. We can't accept it. This is just an example. But in their own countries, that is allowed. And I believe this will not be allowed here in a place like the kingdom. This is because of this. Any AI that has been created or invented in the form of a human being, that is not allowed if it has a form of the creation. Secondly, any AI that has been created in order to substitute marriage, whether male or female, that is not allowed, and Allah knows best.
This is the last question.
Answer, you have categorized.
Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to start by appreciating and commending the effort for the book and the piece now. And my question is, or I say rather a request. I believe Mr. Visa and many potential minds that are willing to develop a career in tech, especially like fourth generation, like blockchain, AI, and stuff like that. But the problem we are facing is roadmap. As well mentioned in the book, mentorship is very relevant to success. So we are requesting you to recommend like boot camps or some promising courses that one will take, and inshallah you will build a career in any of the aspects.
May Allah's peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you once again. I'm glad to hear that you are so passionate about creating a career in the fourth industrial revolution, particularly blockchain technology, among others. This is very commendable. In order to save time, I will recommend a book for you that will guide you in achieving that. The book has been authored by the Chairman Emeritus of Cisco, John Chambers, entitled as Connecting the Dots. Connecting the Dots is a very important book. If you can get Connecting the Dots, read it carefully, adopt the lessons, I strongly believe that you could easily be successful in your career. Secondly, in that book, I spoke on mentorship. If you go through, you'll discover mentorship doesn't require you to be physically with your mentor. The success of Bill Gates largely depends on his first encounter with Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is the most successful investor in recent history. He just met him. Bill Gates met Warren Buffett. The first time he met him, he asked him to recommend a book that when he reads, he will be successful in his business. Immediately, Warren Buffett recommended a book to him entitled Business Adventures, which has been authored by John Brooks. Bill Gates said the entire success of his business depends on that recommendation by Warren Buffett. Only a book he recommended to him. So sometimes mentorship doesn't need you to meet physically or every day with your mentor. That simple recommendation is sufficient to turn your life around. It's very possible. So this is some examples. And I believe mentorship here is key, whether directly or indirectly. You can have a mentor without meeting him, going through his lectures, going through his biography, his history. All these things are very important. I have been pushed recently by some of our mentees to document certain things about my career, even though it's not my biography. But I have authored a book which has been entitled as A Scholar's Journey Navigating Academia. I only documented 20 years of my academic career after graduation to where I was then. It's only 20 years. The book is in the press. It could be available, inshallah, by the end of this month of September. So in that one, I have documented certain challenges in life, decisions being taken, and many more. And I believe that if some of our students and young innovators and mentees will get it, definitely they will realize that if you keep on pushing, Allah Ta'ala will take you to greater heights. And I have no doubt about this. And I hope I have answered the question. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Jazakumullah khair. So
for the copies of skills rather than just degrees, I don't have sufficient copies here in Saudi. There are very few. However, if you have anyone coming from Nigeria, I will provide sufficient copies that will go around, inshallah. So if you have anybody coming, even if I'm here, by tomorrow or a day after, the books will be delivered to him in Abuja or anywhere, inshallah, so that he can bring them. Thank you.
all right, thank you so much, Jazakumullah khair. And we'll have a vote of thanks and closing prayer from the Rais, the president of the Nigerian community.
So on behalf of the Nigerian community and Ghanaian community here in King Abdul'azeez University, we would like to appreciate the invitation that the doctor already answered. We are highly glad for his invitation, for his acceptance to arrive here due to his time limit. Actually, Prof, we have seen that your delivery is blend of motivation and empowerment to our future. Actually, we have a great researchers here from different departments. That's our high table people here, which are from physics, from agriculture, from chemistry, and from other part of the field like Sharia and the rest. And I believe they have enough, and they have reached some publications and innovations. Myself, as an IT, I have some innovations that I have made for the student here, for the community here. I have created some apps to facilitate some buying and selling, and also create another app for the scholarship office. So inshallah, we are on the road. Inshallah, we are on the way. We have we have the zeal to go into it, inshallah, and we will inshallah reach to that point. So, Prof, due to the time factor, we would like to just say we are highly grateful for your acceptance, and on behalf of the Ghanaian and Nigerian students, thank you very much, and thank you very much. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.